first-time starter, freshman, goes out and throws a couple interceptions. How do you make sure that his confidence isn't wrecked by a game like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of trust built up. I think throughout the year and with him, there's no magic dust, if you will. There's nothing you can necessarily just go and say to somebody. He's a confident player. He always has been. He understands it's just going to be getting back to track, getting back to work. And as the hardest position in all the sports, you got to have a short-term memory, and I know he'll bounce back.
Pushing the big picture, what's your main take on why the offense started so much?
I think we got to do, a big soul searching on that, if you will. I can never pinpoint just one specific area. Obviously, as you guys know, throughout the year, there's been a mixture of a lot of things. It's been penalties and whether it's been turnovers and for me at times when you feel like you want to go be aggressive, you just constantly are in that mode of dialing it back, turning it on, dialing it back, and it starts with me, but unfortunately we weren't able to put a winning formula together, and we got to figure that out.
What about switching to Gavin? When did that decision, and just what did you see from him?
That was just based off of Cutter not being able to go. So Gavin's been tremendous all year. He has to be a guy that started 16, 17 games and be in a two role and get his opportunity and all. He's had an amazing attitude. I'll never forget him for that, and I'm appreciative of him going out there and playing with a good attitude today.
What this might look like moving forward. Kind of just talk about what your vision is for this program, being a part of this, and kind of what that looks like from your end.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back to work. That's the lives we live. As you guys know, we can never be on the roller coaster, whether that's at Kentucky or anywhere. You take one day at a time. There's a lot of work to get done. And I think in that situation, this program, this offense, there needs to be a certain level of motivation and hunger for each guy every day that they step into this building. And I know we've got good young guys, good young talent that are going to take this one day at a time and get back to work.
Was the offense failed to convert third down? Why was it such a struggle to
Well, it's probably been a struggle for us all year. Again, my hats off to this Louisville defense. They did a tremendous job of mixing it, playing us tight, playing it soft when they needed to. Ultimately, they just made more plays than we did.
Push, how much of the offensive issues was just the difficulty y'all had in pass protection?
I think we got to look at all levels, and I think that's our jobs. Obviously starts with me from a play calling standpoint. We got to assess our run game, our pass game, protections, all those kind of things. Again, just there was just that feeling, during the course of the year, during the course of games, where it's times you want to be aggressive and it's a negative play, whether that's in the run, the pass, and that felt constant throughout the year. So we got a lot of work to do. We understand that, and that's where we're at.
You talk a little bit about everything, Bush, but isn't the key cornerstone of a good offense up front in the trenches?
You never know exactly what it is. You guys know what I mean by that. I mean, certainly at times, absolutely, right? You know how important the quarterback position is. You know what the running back position has done here for the last 6-7 years. And so I think the biggest thing for myself and the staff is we got to address every single situation from a football standpoint, from myself, the play calling to where we're at position by position, and take a good hard look at it.
You talked about Cutter. Well, you talked about Gavin starting all of those games. But what was the reason that you little experience?
He's just a guy who over the last course of the 2-3 weeks we've really been impressed with as he's come in backup duty. And again, we just feel we had seen a lot from Gavin throughout the year, got a pretty good feel of what his strengths and weaknesses were, and we needed to evaluate, certainly in this situation, what Cutter looked like from a full week of practice, if you will, with the ones, and see what he could get done.
What would you say is the biggest thing that you would challenge him to work on this offseason?
Cutter,
yeah.
I think there's a lot of things, for him understanding, again, he's a guy that, is still able to maintain his red shirt. There's the part of, the weight room piece and getting as big and fast as he can to play in this conference. Certainly we got to get him as many reps as we can. You know, anytime you've got a young true freshman who is thrown into a tough situation, I know this will be a great learning experience for him, but I think there's the mental side of it, the physical side of obviously the week in and week out playing in this conference, dealing with the ups and downs.
What's the biggest point of emphasis for the roster throughout the offseason? Like certain players you're targeting, you know, offensive line, et cetera. What's the biggest emphasis for you all on the offensive side?
I think from a physicality standpoint, that's probably the biggest thing for me is just getting longer and bigger at every position, if you will. I think, you know, we have got to get bigger. I think we understand that. And again, I've talked about it in a lot of different spots, but we got to take a hard look. Again, it starts with me at this whole roster, what we got to do to put a better product out there.
I guess, Bush, before his injury, how did you think Cutter played today?
You know, I think there's room for improvement, right? I think he would agree to that. Again, it starts with me, right? Putting him in the best positions possible. I think it was good to see us get the run game off early. We get early turnovers, puts him behind the sticks at times. But my number one thing was just, you know, in situations, certainly when they're soft, as we know, we've got to keep working to get the ball to underneath receivers. We got to use vertical running ability. He knows that. I think in the 2 interceptions, you know, I think those are ones he'd like to have back. But again, he's done a tremendous job over the last couple of weeks. You know, it was good to get him that experience today. We look forward to, you know, his improvement throughout the course of his career.
Bush, Coach Stoops is, as you know, there's been a lot of turnover at your position, and he said consistency going forward is key. How much do you think it can do for this program now that he keeps saying there's going to be consistency with you guys there at your position? How much do you think it'll do for this program to kind of have some consistency at your position?
Yeah, I never get into all, you know, what's being said and whatnot. I do know though, there's something to be said about continuity. There's certainly something to be said about getting a year 2, a year 3, if you will, just from the players and understanding the system. As you know, you get to some place and you're in year 1 and you're trying to figure out what are we going to call things. You rush through spring. You're not necessarily as in tune with the roster, and I do think it'll be a huge plus.
So you think going forward, having a full off season to kind of scheme things to you get your specific offense, help out in the portal and getting your kind of guys that fit to your style, you think that's going to help you guys going forward?
I do, man. I don't think it's going to hurt, you know, and so I think there's just, again, I think we got the right people here. I really believe that. We got a lot of work to do, and we're just excited to get back to work.
Is it safe to assume the offense is being built around Cutter Boley for next season at this point in time?
I think we're going to look at it, you know, and I think so. I mean, I think he's a guy we're extremely excited about. As you guys know, man, we just digest the game, take the information in. We're not making any decisions just based off of a half of football there. We got a lot of belief in him and the type of player he is and the type of guy he is for this program.